Let me try to stand up. I was so wrecked, and I was sitting on the floor here. I'm still feeling the after effects of the Holy Spirit, so I will try to stand. It's working, right? Like Jonathan said, we feel part of the family when we come here, right away. I mean, the relations we've had with Paul over the last few years has just brought us together in a way that I can't really explain with words, but it's a relationship based on love, brothers and sisters working together in the calling of God, in the love of God, to spread that love in this world. I mean, what is greater than that? So coming here, I feel very humble to be on the stage. I feel that you're the ones that should be teaching. I think that you people that are out there working in the field, missionaries, giving your lives, you are my heroes. And I mean that seriously. You are the guys who we're going for it, who are out there, who are living the life, who are suffering, who are rejoicing. You're my heroes. So many of us in this world, it's so easy to be a Christian, right? To go to church on Sundays and to pay your tithes and to pray your prayers. But you guys are living the life, you know, and I'm so humbled to be able to be here to share part of our journey with you guys, in the hope that this journey we can be on together will be able to take us all a few steps further. I'll be able to understand a bit more about what God is doing, God is calling us to do in this world. Let me start by saying a bit more about myself so you know where I'm coming from. It's an international background, like you heard her read. My parents were missionaries that went to Japan in 1948 after the war to help to rebuild the country, to give them faith. It didn't go like they hoped it would. You probably know Japan is also a nation that's very close to the gospel. And they were there for 20 years. They didn't see a whole lot of fruit, but they felt that was a place, that was a call, that was their fulfilling, was to be able to give their lives for 20 years to the people of Japan. So I was born into that. I lived my first 9 years in Japan and understood that I'm not just an American, but I'm a citizen of this world. I'm a child of God. I'm part of something much bigger than myself. I went back to the States when I was 9, grew up in America. That's why I had this accent you might recognize, combined with the Norwegian accent. But my father was a good man, but he wasn't really a close father to me. He had grown up with a father that had never told him he loved him. He didn't know how to show love to his children. His way of showing love to us was working very hard to provide for us. To be a good missionary, do the right things. So that was my model growing up. My picture of a father was someone who was good, but wasn't really very close. As I grew up, as I moved away from home, I found out that my religion, my Christian religion, was really something that was kind of inherited from my parents. It was more about doing the right things and duty than it was really being in a relationship. My real passion is music. I love music. I was good at music. I got a lot of response through music. When I played, people clapped for me. They told me how good I was. So I received what I was actually looking for from my own father. What I was actually looking for from God, I got it from my music, from other people honoring me. I was very good. I studied at a good school in Boston. I moved to Norway. I was able to get a job as a professional musician, playing in the symphony orchestra. I was living my dream. I'd reached the top. I was up there. But I still really knew that, this is what it's all about. There's nothing more here. Thank God he sent some good Christians in my path to Norway. And I was able to see that there's something here I need, something I want, to do a new culture. And I came back to the Father in 1982 in Norway. And that, of course, changed my life. And my music turned into ministry. After about another 18 years, I was offered a job at the church where I now work in the EME church, and started working as the worship leader there. Still, I was serving out of the orphan spirit. I didn't know that at the time, but I discovered it further down the road. Our church went through a very exciting process. Our church in Norway has always been very concerned with the mission. That kind of defines who we are. We started off as like a lay mission organization, a mission fellowship within Norway, and our call was to reach the people of Norway with the gospel. So that was our drive and our purpose. But somewhere down the line, God started doing things with us. People like Lane and Paul were sharing with us. We met the Toronto blessing, which is all about the Father Heart blessing. And we knew as a church we had to get this. I remember we were going to have a series on, a sermon series on the Lord's Prayer. We spent a half year on the first two words. We didn't get it. Our Father. Our Father. If you don't understand this, we're not going on. We got to be in this until we really catch it. So our church just soaked in this for a half year. We started to understand more and more about who we are as individuals and as a church. We are the children of God. I am a child of God. And I know you know that now. But for some reason, it took such a long time before that knowledge reached from our heads down into our hearts. Our church went through a very exciting process because in advance, before this had happened, we reached kind of a crisis stage. It was strange because we were a very successful church in the eyes of the world. In 2000, we moved into a beautiful building, an enormous facility in Stavanger. We're the largest church in Norway. We had the most resources of any church, the largest staff of any church in Norway. When people came into our services, everyone looked up to us. Oh, wow, Amy Church, we could be like them. But it didn't take a long time before, again, we realized something was deeply wrong. And that was because we weren't fulfilling our mission. People were coming to our church. Our church was growing. It was mostly other Christians because they wanted to be there. Because there was such good worship, and good teaching, and good fellowship. But we saw it maybe in a good year, maybe we reached 10 or 12 people with the gospel. People that didn't know Jesus. Conversions coming to Jesus. It wasn't happening. We knew something was wrong with this. How can we be a church with so many resources and seeing so little return on it? You know, if we were a company and our yearly product was a amount of people saved, we would have been bankrupt a long time ago, right? All of these resources, all this, the people, the money, the budgets, the building, what's coming out of it? So we started really searching. We were fasting, we were praying, we were going to conferences, we were talking, we were analyzing. What's going on? Where can we go? God, what are you calling us to do? Where are you leading us? In the middle of this, one thing was very important, very crucial for our direction. We were invited into a network of other churches in Europe. It was called the European Church Planting Network. And these were similar churches. They were resourceful churches with a position that had the same experience that we had. But we're not succeeding because we're not reaching people with the gospel. People aren't getting saved. Our society is turning away from Christ. We're not able to change it. What are we going to do? So we came together in a network. We had some very good friends from the United States that came to facilitate this network, and we started working together. We came together twice a year with leadership teams over the space of 4 years. And what happened, it really changed our church dramatically. Two things happened. There's two things we learned from this network. The first one was a new way of thinking about church, a new paradigm, a new understanding of who we are. We really were able to see that it's not all about inviting people into building and organization activities. It's not about what's happening here. But it's about how we can send our church, how we can send our people out into the world to make a change there. Our call was to make disciples. Yes. And we weren't doing that. We were arranging church services. We were feeding the sheep. We were doing lots of great things together. We weren't making disciples. But it's because the disciple needs to make more disciples. The disciple follow Jesus. The disciple makes disciples. That's what disciples do. We weren't doing that. We were entertaining. We were educating. We were blessing lots of people, but it wasn't going out. We thought we're going to think differently about who we are. We think differently about our call, about how we're going to succeed in what God's called us to do here in the world. And it started a process. It started a process to define our own identity as a church, our mission and calling as a church, and how we're going to live it out practically. Because the second thing was what helped us to do this. I'm sure you've all been to conferences before. You've got lots of good ideas, written down notes, going, no, it's like, okay, we have to do something about this now, right? But very often these notes wind up first on the desk and then down in the drawer because the other things come on top. We have so many demands on us as pastors, so many things to take care of, so many things to be concerned with, that all these great dreams often get further and further down in the drawer. and we go back to a new conference, right? New inspiration, new ideas. Okay, we have to go home now and do something about this. What happened with us, the network, was that we were invited, instead of being inspired, invited to start in a process together with other churches, start walking a process, a journey together, where we were committed to each other, to hold each other accountable, to actually do something about this. Every time we came together, we were able to call it a learning community. A learning community is a fellowship of leaders that want to learn together, learn from each other, and learn from God, but to be in a process together. We had 3 questions each time. The first one is, what is? Where are we today? We had a good evaluation, honest evaluation of where we were as a church. We talk about discipleship, we talk about mission. Okay, where are we? Leadership, where are we? What's good, what's not good? And it's important to start with what we have. We can't just criticize ourselves, we have to start with what has God given us, okay? But what aren't we succeeding with? And out of that evaluation, what is, the next question was, what can be? What can be? They brought in very good speakers, inspirational, good leaders, people who study, people who could give us new questions, new pictures of what the church can be. So we started to dream about, okay, what can be? How can we actually start making disciples? What does that look like in our church today? We started to dream, we talked together in teams, we've discussed things together, we planned. And then the third question at the end of this gathering would be the most important one. Okay, what will be? What is, what can be, what will be? Based on our evaluation of where we are, based on these dreams we have, what are we going to do? What's the next step? Who's responsible? When's it going to happen? Instead of going back again and pulling out the list and saying with our staff, okay, what are we going to do now? We knew what we were going to do. Because this process had helped us to make concrete plans. So we left the first session, came back to Stavanger, back to business as usual, and just as always, other things started to come on top. Right? Other priorities, other needs, other plans. But what we never had before, was someone to call up a facilitator from this network and ask, okay, how's it going with you guys? How's it going with your plans? And someone who holds us accountable helped us to start doing the things we plan to do. Helped us to live out our own commitments we plan to do. So what we saw is after 6 months we came back together again. And then we had to share with each other, what's happened since the last time? Those plans we made, how's it gone? What have we succeeded with? What have we failed with? So what is? Where are we today? And then new ideas, okay, what can be? New challenges, new dreams, new pictures, new mindsets. And then, okay, what will be? Went back again. You're doing this for 3 or 4 years, it changes something. We're actually building a new culture in our church. We're making plans, we're evaluating, we're going on. So we saw an incredible change. Because the first thing of the new picture that God gave us of what a church can be, the next thing, this process, this tool, this method called the living community, which actually helped us to take the good ideas and turn them into action. You see, this process in itself is not blessed, it's not Christian, it's not spiritual. It's something they got from the world of business. What is, what can be, what will be. Many businesses use this to evaluate, to make plans for the future. But combined with this calling, with this sense of being a church that is actually making disciples to win the world, into a process where we're actually in this process, actually a discipleship-like process. It helped us to see things happen. It turned our church around. Within the space of a few years, we saw from 10, 12 people being saved a year to people being saved every week. Every week we heard testimonies of people coming into the faith. And it wasn't happening because our preachers were so good and the people were raising their hands in the church services. It was happening in people's homes. It was happening at the gym. It was happening out on the streets, in the schools. People would go out and exercise together, go for walks together. People would gather their friends together, their families together. And they were starting to live out the life where they were. Because they understood, okay, a church is not something to go to on Sunday, but I am the church. I am the church, and my life is the life of the church. Every single day, every hour of the day. The church is out in the streets, in the homes, in the neighborhoods, in the schools, in the business places. That's where the church is. Of course, we taught a lot, we worked a lot in our small groups, But I think one of the keys when we actually able to get our church going was we had a weekend, and we asked our church 2 questions. We asked, okay, who are you sent to? Imagine it was a church that, who are you sent to? Who has God put on your heart? Who has He given you a longing for, a passion? Who has He given you a relationship with? Who is the persons of peace that He's put in your life? Who are you sent to? The next question is, who are you sent together with? We know in Luke 10, Jesus said that the harvest is ripe, the laborers are few. Pray that the Lord of the harvest will send out workers into the field. And He said, go. He sent them out 2 by 2. Not alone, but 2 by 2. So people started to stop and think, okay, who am I sent to? Who has God put in my heart? And they came up and shared this for everyone else. We started to see that other people had the same calling, the same passion. They started to get together in groups. They started to get together 2 by 2, or a family, or friends, or whatever. And they started to go out and live out these things that God had called them to do. Because up until that time, it was all about the mission of the church. Who is the church? It's the staff, it's the programs, it's everything we plan to do. The church decides they're going to go out and evangelize, we're going to start an alpha course, the church is going, right? So we got the people of the church to come and join into our activities. We started a bus church in the city. He's a bus driver, and he'd seen, he has, sons that were used, he'd seen the life in the cities, in the center of town on Friday nights and Saturday nights. It was a lot of bad stuff going on down there. A lot of alcohol, drug use, violence. It's not a good place to be. And I know that these people here, they need the Lord. They're searching for goodness. They're searching for a Father. They're out there and now looking for a prostitute, but actually looking for is the love of the God. So he had a dream of starting a bus. And he came to our pastor, Mark, and said, Mark, God's given me a vision. We need a bus church. Martin heard him and thought about it. And he was thinking about everything we have to do. He thought about the budget. He didn't have money for this. Again, he said, well, I know that's a great dream, but we're just not there now as a church, And he encouraged them, but basically said, no, it's not time for us now, right? This was a few years before. Because it was all about what the church was going to do, the church's ministry. So then, when we asked, who were you sent to, right? We said, okay, it's not more about the church's ministry, but how can the church as a body support you to live out your life where you are, so you can reach the people God's called you to reach. Guess who the first person up on the stage was? Yes, I know who God's called me to. He's calling me to the people in the streets of the city on Friday, Saturday nights. He's calling me to get a bus church where we go out there, drive the bus down the middle of town. We can serve coffee, we can talk to people, pray for people, share the gospel there. Okay, who am I sent to? Who else has this vision? In the space of a few hours, there's a group already planning a bus. And Martin said, okay, it's great, but you got to get the money. The church is not going to buy the bus. If this is your dream, you have to find out how can God give you the bus. I understand, no problem, we'll fix it. In a short time, they had a bus. Just this last weekend, there were 7 people that gave their lives to Jesus on the street on Friday night. In the bus, they came in to get coffee, and people get healed every week. They meet the love of God, they meet the power of God, and they want to follow Him. So, this is one of many, many stories. We saw someone that Saturday, they were called with their family to the neighborhood. How can we reach our neighbors with the gospel? They knew about the Alpha course. They'd always gone to the church for the Alpha course, but we can start an Alpha course at our home. We can bring in videos, invite the neighbors over, have some coffee and some food, then we can show the videos and talk together. They started the Alpha course at their home. Within a short time, there's several of these people saved, not a part of the church. Right? We had a lady who she has 4 young girls, very busy. What's she going to do, right? She's too busy to do anything special. And I'm called with my family. We're called to our neighbors, the other families with kids in our neighborhood where we are. So she's like, you know what I can do? We can start inviting our neighbors on trips on Sundays. And go out into the woods, we can have a picnic together, and then I can share the gospel for the kids. She was a Sunday school teacher. So what they did was they went out every Sunday, invited their friends, neighbors, went out for, took some hot dogs in the fire or whatever, had a picnic. And then she would gather the kids together and have Sunday school for the kids. Of course, all the parents stood around listening what was going on, and she was able to communicate to the parents and the children. Now, 70 years later, there's several people who have been saved. She has a cell group of these women now that she meets together with. They have a house church that's starting up now, part of our new church planting in Sanas. because she knew who she was called to. So this happened again and again. Someone started a club with Legos, these, Lego blocks. The kids, they got together with the boys and made Legos and then talked about Jesus. So our church went through this process of changing our focus from bringing people into the church, into our church services and our activities, to actually equipping our church to live their lives where they were. How can we go out and share the gospel with people that are around us? Now, at the same time we were talking about the mission, we had a very strong focus on the Father Heart of God. And that was the key for us. This wasn't just about doing mission, this was about living our lives as the children of God in the world, so that people could see who God was through our lives. We had this incredible up dimension of seeking the Father and His love and who we were, that we were able to take it out into the villages, the streets, the cities, the neighborhoods. Within a few years, our church was thinking differently and acting differently. And we thought, this is too good to keep for ourselves. We need to invite other churches into the same process. So in 2009, 8 years ago, we invited our first group of churches to come together for a network. We called it Agenda One. So the first thing on the agenda was that's our call, that's our mission, what God's called us to do. So Matthew 28, 18 to 20, the Great Commission, that was our mission statement. Go, make disciples of all nations. Let's baptize them, to teach them to hold everything I've commanded. We said, okay, what's it going to look like in our city, in our country today, to make them disciples of Jesus Christ? We found out to a great surprise that that wasn't the same thing as doing church. Right? You can have great church services and never make disciples. If you make disciples, you get a great church. So we started together. One of the first leaders we invited was Lena. She came from a church far north of Norway. They had to fly 4 or 5 hours to get down to our church. They had to change and everything else. There was a little church up in the north of Norway where there's very few Christians. But we were connected to a network, and they wanted to come and be part of this. So Lena and her team, 4 leaders came down and said, okay, we want to go and be in the same process with you. So we started. We learned the same, learning community process, the 3 questions. Okay, what is evaluation? What can be? New pictures, making disciples. And what will be? What's our plan going to be now? So the first 7, 8 churches came together, started working 2 times a year. And in the space of a short time, other churches started to hear what was going on. And said, okay, we want to be part of this too. We want to join in. So the network started to grow. What we had was churches walking together, working together, on a journey together to reach more people for the gospel. We started seeing churches, just like we had, they changed their mindset, their way of thinking, the way of living. Churches having less focus on everything that happens to us, and more focus on equipping the disciples to live their lives where they were. On helping them to be able to share the good news in a way that was relevant to the people around them. Not just preaching, but living their lives, showing the love of God to the people around them. This continued to grow in Norway. Chaplan, at that time, was a missionary in Uttaham with his wife and another pair. Our church had sent out 2 pairs to be missionaries, 2 families to be missionaries in Thailand, and told them, whatever you need, we'll give it to you. So they said, we wouldn't have Agenda One. So my wife and I came down to Thailand in 2010, 11, I think. So we had Agenda One there. 9, 10, whatever. But what we met, and of course, was a very big challenge. We discovered quickly that the culture in Thailand is not the same as the culture in Norway. Yes. I remember the first time I was going to lead Agenda One in Mukdahan. It was a hot day. We had air conditioning on inside. But I was wearing like a light blue shirt. And I started to teach. I had a translator who was trying to translate me. And I understood quickly, she had no idea what I was talking about. And Sharpton came up and tried to help her and said, well, this is what he means. And she tried that. And then I said, no, that's not what I meant. I meant this total communication. It didn't work whatsoever, right? At the end of that first session, my shirt was dark blue. It was dripping. I was so stressed and sweating. It was terrible. We went back to the house afterwards, and we sat down, drank coffee, and talked. And we started to find out, well, how can we communicate? What's the issue? What are the problems? What are the challenges here in Thailand now? how can we help them to make disciples? To be a disciple, you have to make it much simpler. Okay, it's too theoretical, it's very practical. To bring it down to the essence of the teaching. What's the most important thing here? And how can they understand it? How can we help them to understand it? So things started to get easier right away. The first weekend we were together in Mukdam, there was about maybe 10 churches over there, mostly Lutheran churches from their network. There's one man named Pastor Onjan Lapiru, a great man, very humble leader. He was a Lutheran ordained pastor. He had a small church of around between about 30 people that met on Sundays. Yeah, and it didn't work very well because they'd been out evangelizing in the villages. People came to the faith out there, but they never had time. Pastor Onjan never had time to go out and visit them. It was too far for them to come into the church every Sunday. They didn't have the money or the busy, so it wasn't working, right? They were mad at him because he couldn't follow them up, and he was mad at them because they didn't go to church, right? What are you going to do? It's going to go around. But there are some ladies there in the church. There's a lady from the village. I've been a Christian for a number of years. She's been saved. And she's been praying for many years, Jesus, please send a missionary to my village so he can preach the gospel. Jesus, please let the pastor find time to come out to the village so he can preach the gospel. And she had a burning desire for the other people in the village to meet Jesus, especially the children. She wanted to share the gospel with the children. But the pastor never had time. Missionaries couldn't come. So she was praying. And we were there, we were trying as good as we could to communicate that day. And one thing we had to say was that, okay, everyone can make disciples, right? Making disciples means we just help people to follow Jesus. Anyone can do that. Yes. You don't have to be a pastor to make disciples, do you? No. So she picked that up. She understood, yeah, that's true. I can make disciples too. And this lady with no education, right, no theological background, didn't even know what she could read. She and some other ladies thought, well, we can do this too. And they went back. The next few weeks, they started gathering the children in the village and sharing the gospel with them. Of course, they got saved. This little children's church started to grow. The parents started to hear about this, they came too. And now, 8 years later, they have this wonderful expanding church out there in the village. They've been able to build a building, they have services every weekend, they have, now the children, those who were children are now youth, and they are leading the smaller children. The parents, of course, are coming to faith too. So they have this growing church out of the village led by these women that have no education, right? How does it work? Yeah! You can clap for that, you do. But something else happened too, because Pastor Onjan understood that it wasn't dependent on him anymore. His role wasn't to just feed the sheep. It was called to equip the disciples. And more people in his church started thinking that they had a call too. They could also share the gospel. So these things started happening in the villages. Instead of people going out there, they were doing it themselves. He was supporting them. And now, today, they have, 4 churches they planted, plus a 5th on the way or something like that. And when they gather together, all the churches in the church on Sunday, it's packed. It's like 200, 300 people gathering together in this church. Up to 300 people, he said. People are getting saved every week, not because Pastor Onjan is such a good preacher, but because the people of this church are living their lives as disciples where they are and sharing the gospel. Right? They caught it. They figured it out. They got that little change of mindset. Instead of gathering people together in my church, to living our lives as disciples where we were. Right? And if nothing else had happened with Agenda 1, it would have been a success because of that church there. But we see it happening. We see churches making that change, making that discovery of what they're called to do, and see a new picture of how it can happen. Because there's so many old pictures on here, right? We've been doing church the same way forever. Actually, not forever. The first 300 years, we didn't do church this way. The first 300 years, there was no buildings, no pastors, no institutions. But the first church lived their lives as families, and they shared the gospel where they were. The church exploded. But then we learned that, no, we may have the power to gather things together. Right? We trained pastors, we had bishops, and all these different system structures. Okay? So we wound up with this big organization called the church that forgot how to live their lives in every day. So our challenge as leaders today is to find back to the original. How does it really look to make disciples? You see, There's nothing wrong with the structure, the organization. That doesn't define the church. The church is defined by people living their lives as followers of Christ, and helping others to follow Christ. Disciples making disciples. That's the church. It's the people. It's the relationships. You see? That's what we're called to do. The church needs a structure, but the structure does not define the church. The denomination does not define the church. The nationality does not define the church. It's the relationships happening there. Loving God, loving each other, making disciples. That's the church. And we see more and more people catching on to that and changing their way of thinking and living their lives. And the churches are growing. We invited to come to Cambodia the next year. We also have mission work in Cambodia for now. And I get a spirit of generosity, friendliness, of honor. You guys have that. It's so amazing to see. I gotta tell you, I think I've met Paul probably maybe 5 times, 6 times now. It struck me, like after the 3rd time, that each time I meet Paul, he gives me something that really lifts me up. It changes me. Doesn't it? Either it's prophetic words that gives me an important insight that changes my direction. It's a connection to a person that turns out to be a real key person I have. Or it's a teaching that just, wow, I've got to have that. The first time we met in Buriram here in Thailand, he was at a Agenda 1 gathering. And he came in right from the plane. They were delayed by about 3 hours. He came right up on the stage and started sharing this message of serving from love and not from duty, right? You've probably seen it before. You have the, here's your serving your work, right? And here you have your identity, who you are, and here's your relationship to God. And how we start. I'm not going to teach it again. Have you heard this before? Everybody heard this? Yeah, that's perfect. That's just waiting in Agenda 1. So from that day, it became an integral part of our teaching. Wow. Because in Agenda 1, when we come together, it's not just strategy. Usually, whenever we come together, we have fellowship, eat together, have fun together, get to know each other. We worship together. Always start with worship, Word of God. And we always minister to each other. Every time, at the end, each team is prayed for by the other teams. We oftentimes soaking. We do, prayer for the sick. I mean, it's this part of it. When we get together, it's more than strategy. But what we saw was that very often in Agenda 1, what we've done is kind of made the process itself was kind of a strategic process. And a bit more theoretical, a bit more towards the mind. But you have to see that identity was a core part of what we had to do with Agenda 1. And so I just want to tell you that Agenda 1, as you meet it, has been partly built by Paul. So I just want to thank you, Jaime, for that. And like every time I meet you, you're blessing me in some way. It's just amazing. What a guy. Okay. What I want to do now is to take you guys into Agenda 1. We can pretend that we've now come together with our church groups. We've had a good meal. We've had worship. And now we're going to start the process. I've explained to you how Agenda 1 works as a general tool. And now we're going to try it out. So the first thing, we're going to have groups here. I'm not sure how it works. There's probably some single pastors. But after I do the teaching, we're going to get together in a group. If you're here with a group from your church, then that's your group. If you're by yourself, just get together with 2 or 3 other pastors. But try to get a group of like 4 people, 4 or 5 people together. Because what you're going to do is after you hear this, you're going to say, okay, what does this mean to us? How can we apply this in our everyday lives? Okay? So it's not just theory, but we're trying to get it down to the nitty-gritty daily life. Okay?
Yes.
Fine. I got my board, my eraser, my pens. Now I'm going to start. Okay. As I told you in the beginning, the heart of Agenda 1 is the Great Commission, Matthew 28, right? It's to go and make disciples of all the nations. And when I'm going to talk about that, we have to come to grips with what does disciple mean. If we're going to make disciples, what is a disciple? We know that Jesus made disciples. That was a Jewish tradition. You had the rabbi and the disciples. He invited 12 men to come and follow him. Not just listen to him, but to be part of his life. He lived life with them for 3 years. He built an incredibly strong relationship with them, bond. He loved them, they loved him. He taught them. He took them out more than once over the edge to push them, to challenge them to take new steps. He watched them grow for these 3 years. They've made lots of mistakes. And again, at the end, they all failed, right? When they all left him. But that wasn't the point. He was still with them, and he rose up again when he rose up from the dead. And then after 3 years, he sent them out to make more disciples. Okay? So a disciple is someone who wants to be like their master. The goal of these 12 was to be just like Jesus, to be one with him. So what is Jesus like? If we're going to be disciples, to be like Jesus. And the core of discipleship is all about relationships, about love. It's not just doing anything, but it's about relationships. And you can say that Jesus lived his life in 3 relations. This is a very simple tool we use, I think you probably know already. We call it the triangle. Right? It shows the 3 relationships of discipleship. Jesus, his first priority was his Father. He didn't do anything except for what he saw his Father do. He was in great demand. He was the star, the human evangelist. Everyone came, but he left. He had to go off to be by himself in the morning, alone with his Father in heaven. Even Jesus, who was God himself, had spent time alone with his Father. He needed that source. He needed that identity to know that he was one with God. That's the way he described it in John, right at the end. And he had to have that before he did anything else. Remember when he met the woman who was caught in the act of adultery? He stopped. He listened. God, what are you doing now? Time and time again we see that Jesus, he honored his Father, he listened to his Father, he spent time with his Father. That was his first priority, okay? So if that's Jesus' priority, that's to be our priority too. Amen. If that's Jesus' priority, that's to be our priority. The first priority is a relationship with the Father, with God. Okay? So that's up. You have to mention it. The next relationship was in. Because Jesus didn't just, like I told you, teach his disciples. He loved them. He built a family with them. He invited the others into. He had the close ones, the 3, the 12, out on the 7, he had the women. But he always spent his time together with others. He had to build relationships. He needed them too. He needed their support. And they needed him. So his relationships, not just with God, but also with those who became the family of God, were crucial to Jesus. So if Jesus is going to live his life with relationships with other people, other believers, then we have to do the same thing. Looking outward, Jesus was called to the lost sheep of Israel. Jesus was called to those who needed a doctor, not the healthy. Jesus spent his time out there on the streets looking for the people that needed to meet God's love. He spent time with the tax collectors, with the traders of the day, everyone else hated, the prostitutes who were despised by the others, the sick, the lepers, those who were the outcasts of society. He was out there where they were, seeing them, loving them, bringing them into the Father's love. And of course, he brought his disciples with him out on the streets, out on the roads, okay, wherever he went. He had that clear calling that he was there, that people who didn't know the Father would be brought back to them, okay? So you can say that we have 3 directions in discipleship. We have the relationship to God, to the family of God, and to the world around us. You know this, right? Yeah, you do. So this is actually the basis of who we are as disciples, who we are as a church. You can say this is a picture of me, my life, my relationships. It's also a picture of the church, and how we as a church family live our lives in relationships to God, to each other, and to the world around us. If we take it one step further, we'll see that these relationships are both about our identity, who we are, and about our actions, what we do. Put the heart here first. This is my identity. And this is the perfect place to talk about identity, right? It starts with knowing that we are the children of God. We are loved. We are created in his image. Nothing we do can make him love us more. Nothing we do can make him love us less. We are just loved. That's who we are. That's our identity. Of course, we have been lots of actions, lots of things we do. We spend time reading the Bible, praying, worshiping. You know, the whole bit of a relationship needs to be lived out. We have to spend time with Father. We have to get to know Father more. We have to live in a two-way relationship where we listen to him and we give our answers back to our response to him. Okay? So the relationship with God is both about who we are, our identity, and about what we do, our actions of life. Right? Down here, what is our identity? Yeah, we're the family. We're not just an organization. We're a family. We belong together. We're all born of the same Father. You get born into a family. You don't join a family. Okay? You can join an organization. You can join a denomination, but you can't join a church. You were born into the church. When we are born again, you're born to the church family. All of us. That's why we only have one church, okay? Because all brothers and sisters are all born into the same family. Which means we belong together. It's our identity, it's who we are. When we do things in the family, of course, there's lots of things we have to do. We have to come and spend time with each other. Church services, cell groups, wherever we meet. We have to serve each other, take responsibility. We have to give our tithes, our money, so that the church family can be strengthened and built up. Lots of things we do together as a church, but it starts with our identity as the family of God. How about out? What is our identity when it comes to living our life in the world? Who are we? You can say it different ways. I like using the light of the world as a good picture. Where Jesus said in John that I am the light of the world. But it says in Matthew 5, in the Sermon on the Mount, that you are the light of the world. Right? Notice he's saying this at the beginning of his ministry to those who were his disciples who came to follow him. He says, you are the light of the world. And because I am the light and I am in you, then you are the light. It's nothing they had to do. They didn't have to go to Bible school first. Or they didn't have to be able to, do all the right things. They just were because Jesus was in them. So by the power of the Holy Spirit within us, we are the light of the world. Just being in the world means that Jesus is leading the world. We are the face of Jesus. We are the hands of Jesus in the world around us. Just by being there before we do a thing. Okay? Got that?
Yes.
Of course, we're also going to do things. We're going to share the gospel. We're going to show goodness and kindness. We're going to feed the hungry. We're going to heal the sick. We're going to try to show God's love in any way we can so that they can see who He is. Okay? All the things we do out there as disciples in the world. Now, when you see this picture here, I want you to stop and think, what is our main focus as a church? What do we spend our time and energy and money on? What do we talk about at our staff meetings? What do we preach about? So much of our focus as pastors will be on what we do, on the outer parts. You talked about this morning that so much of my focus will be on, do I pray enough? Do I do a good job? Do I serve enough? I mean, we look at my own life. I'll be very focused on all the things that I do. And usually I will wind up on the downside of the equation because I never do enough, right? You never do enough. You can always do more. You can always have the guilty conscience because you haven't prayed enough. You don't know the Bible well enough. You forgot that verse. Where was that verse again? Oh no, right? I don't witness that. I don't share my testimony. Of course, there's millions of people out there that don't know Jesus, and I haven't told them yet. Right? I haven't served enough. I've been lazy in church. I was too tired to go to church last Sunday. I didn't take responsibility. I didn't call that person to call. There's always something that brings us down, right? Because we look at what we do, our identity in what we do. That's human nature. And we're all, I'm not only, it's a struggle for me, no matter what, okay? But our calling, our one big possibility, the thing that saves us all, that brings us to this place of being able to just rest, is that this is where it starts, our identity. And our identity is not based on what we do, okay? Remember, it starts by knowing that my Papa loves me. And I know I'm a child of God, and that's why I'm going to serve out of that love. Okay? It doesn't matter how much you succeed in the eyes of God. He loves you no matter what. Okay? We have to love ourselves the same way. Remember what Jesus told them what the greatest commandment was? He had an awful lot to choose from. Right? The Old Testament is full of commandments. Good commandments, some commandments I wouldn't have written if I was God, but lots of commandments, right? But Jesus said there's one that's above all others. So what was that? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your strength, right? Because this here, this was our first command, to love God. And then of course, when we love God, it's all a reflection of His love to us. The relationship to God is love. That's where it comes from, love with a capital L. Agape, unconditional love. Love we can't deserve, we can just receive. Jesus died on the cross for each one of us before we were born, before we could do anything to deserve it. So he died for us when we were his enemies. That's love, okay? We know this. I don't have to teach you about this. But that's where it starts, okay? He loves us, and we love him. Greatest command. But he says there's one more. What was that? Love your neighbor as yourself. And who's my neighbor? Is it the Christians? Yes. But remember when someone asked Jesus, well, who is my neighbor? He told the story of the Good Samaritan, right? The good Muslim, he would be in our time. Love your neighbor as yourself. Okay? That's the command. You see, if you talk about being a disciple, at its core, it's about loved and being loved. That's my identity. God loves me. That's who I am. I love that song. You're a good, good Father. That's who you are. And I'm loved by you. That's who I am. Think about it. That defines me. That tells me who I am. I am loved by you.
Yes.
That tells me who I am. Okay? And because he loves me, I can love my neighbor. I love because he loved first. Right? That's John. Again, 1 John. So if you look at this drawing again, now think about being a disciple. It starts here. Knowing that I loved each other. And that's why I do all these things here. Right? That's why I read the Bible and pray. Because I want to get to know my Papa even better. Not to get brownie points. Or that he'll be satisfied with me. That's why I go to church. That's why I give my tithes. That's why I serve with the things I don't want to do, clean the toilets, whatever it is. Because it's my family.
Yeah.
And I gotta love them. I gotta take responsibility. Loving is not a feeling, right? It's not, oh, I love you. No, I love you. Okay? If I'm gonna love you, I have to show it to you. I gotta do it, right? And how about this, right? Why am I evangelizing? Why am I sharing the gospel? Why am I going out doing good deeds? That's the hardest one for me, right? I don't like evangelizing. I really don't. I'm not an evangelist. I'm a shepherd, if you can talk about the fivefold ministry. I just like being with people. And for years and years, I had a guilty conscience because I was never out there evangelizing. I never did enough, right? Until finally someone helped me understand that God never told me to save the world. He told me to love it. I can do that. Okay, I can love him. I don't like him, but I can love him anyway because he loved me, right? So I can be good, I can pray for them. Okay, I can love him. You see? And if that's the basis of it, then it's entirely different when I start sharing my faith by testimony. If someone knows that I love them, they will listen to me in a different way. You see? When a Jehovah's Witness comes and knocks on the door and tries to tell me the gospel, I know why they're doing it. It's not because they love me. It's because it's duty. They're told to go out and do it, they have to do it, they have a form to fill out, and they've practiced, and they're coming to tell me the gospel. And an awful lot of Christians, unfortunately, are the same way. They're out there sharing the gospel just because they're supposed to. Right? I know. I've been there, done that. But if somebody doesn't understand, okay, it's about loving them. God, give me love for these people. Let me build a relationship. Let me show that I care before I start telling them about Jesus. Okay, they'll understand that I'm doing it not to get points at church, because I really care about it. Okay? You see that? Being a disciple is about living in relationships. It starts with our identity, which is all about love. And then it is lived out in the different ways. Okay? Remember? First love, identity, and then we do it out of love. Out of love to God, out of love to the church family, and out of love to the world around me. Okay? Simple concept. I'm sure you know it before, nothing new. But the question is, how does this look at my church? In our church now, in what way do we express love to God? Okay? In what way do we show love to each other? In what way do we show love to the world around us? You try to think about it a bit, right? And you can say, okay, we love God by coming to the worship service, right? But are we able to bring people into that sense of not just going through the motions, but really knowing God, loving loving God? How do we help our church members? Remember, our goal is that each member of our church, we want to make a disciple. Right? That's the goal. We want them to grow as disciples. We want each person in our church to live this life. We want each person who comes in the doors to have an experience of the Father's love and know who they are, their identity, and to be able to love them back. Okay, how does it look in our church? How do we do that? How is that expressed? Tell me good stories. Okay? And how about the family? Where do you really see love in action? People who really care for each other, who sacrifice, who do things out of love and not just out of duty. Share the good stories. And especially here, how do we see the love of God being expressed to people outside the church? People who don't know Him yet. And don't just talk about the activities, but the everyday lives of people. Where do you see this happening in your church? People going out and building relationships, showing compassion, helping out people, whether it's the children or the homeless or the professionals or the old, whoever it is. Where is that love being expressed? Okay? And I want us to get a picture of our church as a disciple-making church. Okay? Where it's a whole group of disciples, lots of people living their lifestyle on Jesus and living like He lived. All right? Questions before you go into the groups? We're on the first part, what is. Remember? First the evaluation. What is? Where are we today? Like Charlotte talked about, if we're going to go on, where do we start? What's the good stuff? Where's the gold in our church? Where's the gold in our people? Right? Don't be critical now. Don't say, oh, we should have more of that and more of that. No, what's good? Okay? What can we build on from here? Of course, we will see where are the gaps. Where do we need to work more? I want to know where are we today, okay? Afterwards, we'll talk more about what can be. Good. Now, let's make groups. If you're here from a church together, we'll be able to meet as a group and talk about it. If we're alone, you can find someone who sits around you, 4 or 5 people, and have a conversation about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Normally, let me tell you this first. Normally, we have Agenda 1, we spend like a day and a half on it. Day to 2 days. Then we just have a couple hours, so we're doing it short, okay? Just do a short taste now. Okay, any questions? We're going to be around the room here.